Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Mustard Seed Leadership Podcast. We are on week 4 of a 5-part series called Developing the Leaders Around You, trying to be as practical as possible about developing a leadership team, investing in them, because leaders don't just happen, they've got to be homegrown and developed. Becoming intentional about raising up leaders. Remember, Jesus was the master at that. He ministered to the crowd, but he invested in the few key people around him. Luke chapter 6 and verse 13, when morning came, Jesus called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them, whom he also designated apostles. Because remember, the key to impacting many is choosing and investing in the right few. So, 5-part practical plan. Part 4, developing a leadership training plan. If you like me, great leaders are not just going to appear around you. They have to be intentionally developed. There's going to be an intentionality on your part as the leader to create the environment to train and develop them. And that means developing a leadership training plan. Now, my goal today is to not be theoretical, but to be as practical as possible. I'm going to just share some of the lessons learned and some of the ideas I've used, and hopefully you can use that to tweak, adjust, and create your own plan. So, number 1, me, have to be intentional about growing ourselves. John Maxwell said it like this: the first question to ask yourself as a leader, are you investing in yourself? That's key. In the aeroplane, if you hear the safety briefing before you take off in an aeroplane, they always say, if there's a problem with the pressure, your mask drop down first, put on your own mask, and then help the person next to you. Because if you don't put on your own, you're going to be no use helping others. Same with leadership development. This starts with a very intentional decision that you as the leader develop yourself. What does that mean practically? Well, in my life, I've got a leadership development plan, which includes the type of books to read. I put together a reading list of books that I want to get through in the year. It means podcasts to listen to, leadership events to attend that give me an inspiration and give you a different perspective, people to spend time with. There's some great leaders. I want to try and have some lunches, spend some time with them because they enlarge you as a leader, and leadership challenges to embrace. So number 1, are you investing in yourself? Number 2, meet with potential leaders intentionally. It's not just going to happen, it has to be intentional. 2 little sayings that I have. Number 1, dreams stay dreams until they enter your diary. You can dream about being a great this or that, but until it actually becomes appointments, schedules in your diary, it's going to stay dreams. Put it into your diary. Another one, values without habits is just wishful thinking. You can say you've got values about this and that, but if those values don't translate into habits and routines in your life, then actually it's wishful thinking. They're not real values. So what does that mean? Meet intentionally means identify some names. We looked at that last in the previous episode about identifying potential leaders. Choosing a weekly or monthly time slot. I'd advise you try weekly if at all possible to meet with a group of people. Invite them personally, not just a big broadcast, who wants to. No. Invite them personally. Come and join me, and then be consistent. For me, practically what that means is a Friday morning slot. 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning, every Friday morning. I've got a group of 8 guys meeting together, investing in them, and leaders are beginning to emerge. Thirdly, that means teaching intentionally. I heard a saying once, you might have heard me say it before, and I believe it's truth. It's simply this: plan B, well executed, always trumps plan A, poorly executed. In other words, sometimes we can think if I had the perfect leadership material, it will create perfect leaders. Not true. Rather, execute well on some good material, be consistent, love your people, invest in them, and even lesser material, well executed, will produce much better results than the perfect leadership material that you're always looking for, but actually it's not executed well. So what material should you be using to train leaders? You could use a podcast just like this. You can use this material, get them to listen to it, watch together, discuss the questions. That would work. You could use other podcasts. You could work through a leadership book together, or you could develop your own material straight from Scripture by looking at some key Bible passages. It's all is up to you. Right now, I'm working through a simple 30-day new believers devotional. I mean it, with leaders. And what's surprising me is even these simple devotions are sparking amazing discussions, and I'm thinking, I thought these people were mature at this level, and actually things are coming out in their lives. Point is this: even a simple 30-day devotional for brand new believers is producing leaders. It's the environment that counts more than the perfect material. Fourthly, take them with you intentionally. Jesus didn't hold classes to train his disciples. He invited them into his life to come on a journey with him. In Mark chapter 3 and verse 14, it says, he appointed 12 that they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach. This is huge. You can't just share material. You have to share your life. You have to find opportunities to spend time together and do things together. Involve them as much as possible. Take them on trips with you. Prioritize connecting with them. Who's filling your diary? That's the question. I find myself, am I at the mercy of random people saying, oh, please, can I meet? Or am I being intentional about who I'm meeting and having lunches and coffees with? Develop deeper friendships with them. One little example, every 3 months, I go to a meeting in Pietermaritzburg, a regional kind of meeting. It takes 3 hours to drive there, 3 hours to drive back for a 3-hour meeting there. But what I've discovered, instead of wasted time, actually those 6 hours in the car become great leadership development opportunities. I travel with a bunch of guys and we talk on the way down, on the way back. What did you learn? Who did you meet? What did you discover? And it's that environment that actually produces great leaders. And then number 5, start entrusting them with responsibility. Someone once said this. They said the only way to know if you can trust someone is by trusting them. That's what it means. You can train till the cows come home, but the best training is going to happen when you start entrusting your potential leaders with some responsibilities. What are some of those responsibilities to entrust to people? It means following up on new people, organizing an event, leading a meeting, letting them preach or minister, shepherding someone through a struggle. In fact, I remember early on, I hate organizing events. For me, it's not my gift set. It's just not something that I enjoy doing. And then I realized actually though, organizing events are some of the best leadership development tools there are, because now you're entrusting someone with responsibility. They've got to build a team. They've got to make something happen. And it's a great way of developing leaders by entrusting them to go ahead and arrange something. So let me leave you with a challenge. I want you to take some time to assess your current leadership development plan. Be honest. Write it down. What are you doing intentionally to develop the leaders around you? And then, what can you do to become more intentional and effective? Based on what I've said, some of the practical things that I've shared, how can you take some of my experience, weave it into your own, and develop a leadership development environment? Hope it helps. We've got a final episode next week in this series. Can't wait to see you then. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Remember, if you'd like the notes that come along with this episode or any one of our past episodes, you can visit outlookchurch.co.za/mustard seed leadership, where you can see all our past episodes, all the resources and notes that go along with this. Until next time, keep growing.